desperate last attempt at repeal and replace. Senate Republicans have failed in their latest and potentially final attempt to kill Obamacare on Tuesday, right before the critical end-of-the-week deadline. In other words, you may now be an Obamacare customer for life. Although the repeal and replace bill's authors promised to try Obamacare repeal again at some point in the future, many have lost faith in the rhino-infested GOP. Men such as John McCain, among others, have betrayed the Republican Party beyond a reasonable doubt, and now, it may be too late to save it. President Trump slammed Senators McCain and Paul, in a rant on certain so-called Republicans, who opposed the GOP effort to repeal and replace Obamacare. For now, however, President Trump and the Republicans in Congress who vowed to pass an Obamacare repeal, will leave it standing. Through events that are under our control and not under our control, we don't have the votes, said Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. Vice President Mike Pence also expressed his disappointment after lunch between him and other GOP members. "Am I disappointed? Absolutely," he said. On healthcare, the urgency confronting the GOP lies in the special budget rules, which would allow Republicans to repeal Obamacare with just 50 votes, plus a tiebreaker from Pence, rather than the normally required 60 votes. Many are skeptical that Republicans will ever be able to get 60 votes in the future. Many Republicans have decided to turn their sights onto changing the tax code, hoping that over time they will learn to work together. As Americans are furious in the wake of this monumental failure, a large tax cut would certainly serve the GOP well to ease their voter base's tempers. AP News reports. There was much talk of returning to the repeal effort later, but not all Republican senators were putting on that brave face. Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana described the bill as dead as a doornail. The bill Cassidy co-authored with Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina would have unraveled the central elements of Obama's law, including the requirement for Americans to carry health insurance or pay fines, and offered block grants to states to design their own systems with less federal control. Republicans are also strongly in agreement on a need for action on overhauling the loophole-ridden U.S. tax code, and hope that if they also succeed in getting Americans a tax cut, their failure on health care will be forgiven. Yet they began the health care effort with unanimity, too, up until the devilish details began to emerge and divide them as they pursued a partisan effort against united Democratic opposition. Much the same could happen on taxes, where Republicans are at the beginning of the process, with plans to unveil a blueprint on Wednesday. President Trump has previously announced his tax plan, promising massive cuts for the majority of Americans. According to his official website, he wants to ensure 0% income tax on anyone who works and earns below $25,000 a year. He will also cap business taxes at 15%, making the U.S. a much more competitive region for entrepreneurs. As Americans reflect on this gargantuan failure of the Republican Party, many are left preparing for the upcoming elections on November 6, 2018. So write the date down, and mark it with care, because on that very day, millions of patriots will flood the voters' booths and kick every single Republican in name only straight out of office.